talking through them.
Okay, so this is revision 9, as you can see. So for the first one, and sorry, these diagrams look a bit, I don't know if they were stretched or what happened. It's a bit unclear. But they're saying calculate giving reasons the value of x, y, and z. Right? Now, guys, usually when they list them in that order, that's the order that they want you to find them in. Then that's also the order in which the question will be kind of set up for you to find them in. All right? Now, what I want you to do when you're getting a geometry question, obviously these weren't printed out, so you wouldn't have to redraw them. But guys, in your exam, you're obviously going to get the pictures on your question paper. That question paper is yours. Okay, you can write on it whatever you want. You're going to take it home, no problem. All right? So please use it to your benefit. What I want you to do is I want you to first identify parallel lines. Because that is in most cases the key to solving a geometry question. What lines are parallel? Which lines are parallel to each other? Do we notice that we have a parallel line here? Or sorry, parallel lines A, B, and C, D. Right? Now guys, if they are parallel lines, I promise you, they're not going to give you parallel lines if you're not supposed to use them. All right, so as soon as you see that there are lines that are parallel, you can know straight away you're going to have to use that somehow. Now, there are 3 shapes that we look out for when we have parallel lines. We look out for a Z shape. Those are alternate angles. Do we notice that we have that here? Are you looking at my cursor? Can you guys see that? There, and there. We have a Z shape. Guys, you can identify that. You can literally take a highlighter and you can, on your page, you can highlight that. Here's a Z shape. If you want, okay? You're allowed to use colors, you're allowed to use highlighters, you're allowed to write on your question paper. So if we have this Z shape here, and these lines are parallel, what does that mean? Which 2 angles are going to be equal to each other because of that?
The 66 degrees and 5.
Oh, it's an X here. Sorry, yeah, it's not very clear, but this is X. All right, so guys, if you have your Z shape and the lines are parallel, these 2 angles, the angles like in those Z, the 2 lines will be equal. So X is 66. There's your first answer. All right, because of alternate angles, and then you'll write AB parallel to CD. Now, what else? Now we've looked at the parallel lines, we've identified a Z shape, and we've used it. Let's see if there's an F shape, right? Do we notice an F shape here? It's a funny F shape. The orientation is a bit strange. It's backwards and it's like lying on its head, right? So this would be the back line of the F. And then those are the 2 lines forming the F, right? And again, guys, because those 2 lines are parallel, the 2 angles underneath, well, in this case, on top of those lines, are equal. So Y is 44 degrees because of corresponding angles AB parallel to CD. Okay, and now the last one to find Z. You have multiple options here. And do you want to do one?
I was going to say go 66 plus 44, and then 180 minus that.
Yeah, so we could use angle, sum, and triangle, right? Because if we have Y, we know that that's 44. So we can say that Z is 180 minus 66 minus 44, right? Or in the way that you just described it, that's fine. Your reason would be angle, sum, and triangle. What else could I do? Yeah.
Angles on a straight line.
Angles on a straight line, yes. I have 44, I have X, which is 66. So Z is going to be, again, 180 minus 44 minus 66. Your reason is then angles on a straight line. That's fine. Anything else? There's one more way. Yeah, I think that's similar. You would say that that is 180. Yes, that's not what I'm thinking of, but that's fine, yeah. Let's look at those parallel lines, guys. We've spoken. Sure, my English is a bit bad today. Yes, you want to try? Co-interior angles, yes. This is a C shape. Do we notice that? And remember, when you have co-interior angles, the C shape or U shape, this is drawn differently. That angle plus that angle must equal 180. So our calculation will be exactly the same, right? Because we know that that's 66, that's 44. So Z is again 180 minus 66 minus 44, but then your reason is co-interior angles AB parallel to CD. Okay, so that's how you need to think about it, guys. If there are parallel lines, you literally are going to work like through a process of elimination. Is there a Z shape? Is there an F shape? Is there a C shape? Okay, let's look at the next one. Parallel lines. There we go. This line is parallel to that one. Is there a Z shape?
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's an X. There we go. It is 70 degrees. Right, these are first answers. Because those alternate angles. Y, I'm going to find y. X is 70. Y is 110, 180 minus 70, right? Angles on the straight line. Now I must find Z. Yes.
When you're writing the figure, x equals that, and then the reason.
Yes. And you would say, man, why do I keep choosing? There are two green pens and one works and the other one doesn't. Here's the other one. So you would say X is equal to 70 degrees. Sorry, I'm never right on the board, so I'm not very good at it. Of angles. No, what is these now? QRST. QR parallel ST. 1, 2 marks. To find y, you could say 180 minus 70, or you could say y is 110. Yes?
When you're stating the parallel lines, you have to be incorporated.
No. No. Right, y is 110 degrees, angles on a straight line. Okay, now Z. Let me just put this in here, 110. That is 70. Now I need to find Z, which is that angle over there. Now guys, in the same way that they won't give you parallel lines if you don't have to use them, they won't give you equal lines if you don't have to use those. All right, so we notice that this is an isosceles triangle. All right, because that side is equal to this side. Now we know that if that happens, then these two angles will have to be equal to each other. So that angle is Z, this one also has to be Z. Right, is that fine? So Z plus 110 should equal 180. All right, so Z plus 110 equals 180. What's the reason? Triangle, sine, triangle. What's Z plus Z? 2Z. How do I get rid of a plus 110? I minus it. What's 180 minus 110? 70. How do I get rid of this 2? Divide by 2. What's 70 divided by 2? 55 degrees. Or, what kind of angle is this? In terms of our triangle, it is the exterior angle of a triangle. See, we always forget about that one, eh? Even me, don't feel bad. The exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the opposite interior angles. Right? So what's Z plus Z? 2Z. So 2Z should equal 70 because of the exterior angle of a triangle. So you didn't actually have to write this. This would have been your first line, and then your reason would have been exterior angle of triangle. But I did leave something out though, guys. I never wrote how I knew that this was Z. Okay, you do actually have to write that down. How did I know that this is Z? It's an isosceles triangle, but what's the reason for that? Yeah. No, that's for this. Right? But when I have an isosceles triangle, that's the these angles must be equal. What's that reason? Yes? Angles opposite equal sides. Angles opposite equal sides. Does that ring a bell, guys? Right? You're not allowed to write isosceles triangle. You have to say angles opposite equal sides. So you have to actually say angle P is Z, angles opposite equal sides. Or you can use the equal symbol if you want. Okay, sorry, I forgot to write that down. But guys, like I said, these solutions are on Google Classroom. Okay, we're just kind of going through it. So you can go double check everything on there. Any questions on this one? All right. Okay. A trapezium. Did we do quads this year, guys? I actually can't remember. Did we do properties of quads? No, parallelogram, that stuff. No, we haven't. Okay, so they won't give you that. Don't worry. Okay, this one is an interesting one. Number 2. They're saying express C1, which is this angle. This one. And C2, which is that one, in terms of X and Y. Now, guys, if the question says in terms of a variable or 2 variables, that means that you need to answer using those variables. If they say in terms of X, your answer has to have an X in it. If they say in terms of Y, your answer has to have a Y in it. If they say in terms of X and Y, your answer has to have an X and a Y in it. All right? Do we know what the value of X is?
No.
No. Do we know what the value of Y is? No. So we can't get actual values as an answer. All right? Our answer is going to have X's and Y's in it, and that's fine. That's what they're asking. Okay. C1. How can I find C1? If I knew what X and Y were, what those values were, what should I do? Okay. C1, good, is 180 minus X minus Y, and we'll sum in triangle. Right? I can't get any more specific than that because I don't know what X is, I don't know what Y is, so that's the final answer. Okay, so let's get put off by that, guys. They're saying in terms of X and Y, you're supposed to have an X and a Y in your answer. That's what they're asking. What about C2? Someone else. Let's hear from someone else. C2. Someone else. Hey, any takers for C2? Amy, do you want to try? No, you don't want to try. Who wants to try? Joseph, okay, yes.
Thank you. I said C2 equals 180. It is actually quite a long answer. So I said equals 180 minus open bracket 180 minus X minus Y, and then I close the bracket. And I said equals 180 minus.
And then work it out.
180.
Yes, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
but I see where you're going. What was your reason? Why did you say 180 minus this one?
I said it was because of angles on a straight line, but I think you can also use external angles and.
Yes, I'm gonna get to that now. Yes, so guys, you could use angles on a straight line, right? But like Joseph was saying, it's quite a long process. And then you have to say 180 minus this whole thing, and then you work it out. Okay?
Could you just say C2 equals 180 minus C1?
They're saying in terms of X and Y, so you have to have an X and a Y in the answer, okay? But then you said the exterior angle of a triangle. Guys, let's try and remember that, because what is the exterior angle of a triangle equal to?
X plus Y.
X plus Y, the sum of the opposite interior angles. Right? That's a lot shorter. So C2 is going to be X plus Y, which is what you also get if you do the 180 minus this whole angle. It will just take you much longer. Right, so C2 is X plus Y, exterior angle of triangle. Okay. Just move that there. I just want to see how far this still goes. Okay. Express C and B1 again in terms of X. All right. If B2 is equal to X, so they put that in here. I'm just going to make it a little clearer. And angle ABC is 90 degrees. So this whole angle is 90. Okay. Express C C and B1 in terms of X. So let's start with C, that's the first one that they mentioned, okay? Like I said before, that means they want to do that one first. C, what do we think? What kind of triangle is that, Kaden? It's an isosceles triangle, so what is angle C going to be? Okay? The same, if these two sides are equal, the angles opposite those sides will also be equal. So angle C is also going to be X. And you have to memorize this reason. These angles opposite equal sides.
Can you replace the word equal for an equal sign?
Yes. What happens quite often is that people mix up the words
Yeah.
in that reason. So you just like, those 4 words have to be there. It doesn't matter what order they're in. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. Okay, so often people will say opposite angles equal sides. And it's like, what does that mean? All right, it has to actually mean that, yes. Yes, yeah, you can do that. So it has to be, and guys, also not equal angles opposite equal sides. I know that technically that is correct, but this is what it says in the CAP document. All right, so that is what we mark according to at the end of the year for matric paper 2. Okay, I've marked it for 5 years. I know they don't give the mark if the wording is wrong. Okay. So you have to write angles opposite equal sides. Very important. Okay, now we must find B1. B1. Yes.
I said V1 equals 90 degrees minus X.
Yes.
Complementary.
Good. Yeah. Right, this is a 90-degree angle, the whole angle B. They're asking for B1 now. So it's the whole angle minus that bottom one. Right, does that make sense? So B1 is equal to 90 minus X. You can write complementary angles, but you actually don't even need to write the reason for that one, because they put complementary angles in the memo. It's fine, don't worry. And if you're just seeing an angle and you're minusing a part of it, that's almost like common sense. That's not really like a geometrical thing. Okay, so you can write complementary angles if you want. Do we all know that complementary angles are angles that add up to 90? Complementary, add up to 90. Supplementary, add up to 180. All right, those are the 2 words. Yes.
I know this is a little topic, but for my check, how many maths is that to?
2.
Okay.
Yeah. Paper 1 is algebra stuff, finance, probability. Paper 2 is geometry. Okay, and stats actually. All right, now number 4, guys, these are important questions. I know for a fact that there is a video lesson on Google Classroom where we marked exercise 11.2, I think it was, which was a long exercise on all these types of questions. Yes.
One where the right angle is X, then it'll add up to it's equally worth,
No, not necessarily.
but then how do you know what X is?
You don't. That's the thing. That's why your answer has an X in it. Because we don't know what X is.
Just want to find out X, because I found out.
So they gave us the other one. They told us that the whole angle was 90. But maybe they told us that this whole angle was Y. Right? That's also an option. What if they didn't tell us that this was 90? What if they just said that this whole angle is Y? And that angle is X. Now what is B1?
Then you just write that it's X.
Big angle minus the other part. Right? Does that make sense? So if they told us that this whole angle is equal to Y, the whole angle B, and this one is X, we need to find B1. It's almost like those area ones, right? Where you had like a square and then a circle was cut out and you needed to find the shaded area. You take the big shape, you take the area of the square minus the area of the circle. It's a similar type of thing here. You take the whole angle minus the one at the bottom. So in this case, B1 would be Y minus X. Okay. Number 4. And we're just going to do these 3. Is it 3 of them? Yeah. And then I'm going to let you guys carry on with your own stuff again. All right, so they're saying set up an equation to calculate the value of x or y in each sketch. Now, guys, they want us to find what is x actually equal to, what is y actually equal to. We need to understand the difference between these two questions. They're saying express them in terms of x. So our answer has an x in it. Here they're saying calculate the value of x and or y. So now we need to actually find those values. All right, our answer can't now be like a 180 minus x. Okay. In the given sketch, ABC is a straight line. What do we notice there, guys? What do angles on a straight line have? 180. So 2x plus 3x plus x. But if you can't do anything else, you can do a mark for that. Okay, so 2. So you would write the whole word straight. I'm just trying to say something now. Now that is the first part of the question done, right? We've set up our equation. It said set up an equation to solve for x or to calculate x. So now we've set up our equation. Now we're going to solve that. What's 2 plus 3 plus 1? 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 1 is 6. All right, get rid of that 6. Divide by 6. All right, what is 180 divided by 6? 32. 38. This one, that's fair. Yes, 18 divided by 6 is 3. So 180 divided by 6 is 50. Yes. Yeah.
You might also do some 2x divided by 2 to get the answer.
Okay, what about you?
You wait, you need to do 3x.
Yes, because these 3 angles altogether add up to 180. We don't know what 2x on its own.
There isn't 2x 2 times x. We know this.
Yeah, but we don't know what x is if we're not solve it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying for the first question. So just, oh,
So but if they told us maybe that this is like 60 degrees, yeah, then you could do that, but they didn't. Okay, they just are telling us that these 3 angles are 2x, 3x, and x. And the only mathematical fact that we can see there is that the 3 of them together will be 180. Okay. Is that fine, guys? Yes. Sure. Mhm. Yes. Everything we've done this year is in the test except for constructions. Okay, next up. Tomorrow. All right, 4.2. They're parallel lines. Guys, they're Z shape. Yes, but did they give us, so okay, this is the Z shape, right? But they didn't actually give us the angle in the Z shape. Okay. We could, yes, okay, but we also don't know those angles. Okay? What about an F shape? Is there an F shape that we can use? We're looking for an F that uses the angles that they've given us. All right, so yes, there are loads of F shapes, yes, but they've given us this 3x minus 30, and they've given us this 90 minus 6. Okay, so do we see that those 2 angles form an F shape with the parallel lines? What do we know about that, guys? If we have the F shape, corresponding angles, we have to know what they're called as well, right? Corresponding angles, parallel lines. Adam Janda. Okay, what do we know about those angles? They're equal. So 3x minus 30 is equal to 90 minus x. Chorus, you're allowed to write that. Space cap, angles. Oh, they haven't labeled the lines. What now?
Should we just call it A, B, C?
No. What do we do?
Just do the 2.
You just write parallel lines. Okay? You don't have to make up names for them. You just write parallel lines. Yes. If you? They might, yeah. This is a great way to do it. And guys, if you just leave it out because you're like, oh, they didn't label it, I'm not gonna write anything down, I'm gonna lose them all. Okay, you have to write parallel lines. Okay, now what? Now I can solve for x, eh? Minus x here, if I move it, what is it gonna become? Plus x. What's 3x plus x? 4x equals. I have a 90 over here, that's minus 30. If I move it, it's going to become plus 30. Remember, the opposite of subtracting 30 is adding 30. What's 90 plus 30? 120. 120. What is 120 now? Divided by 4? 50. And it's not always going to be 50. Okay, just letting you know. The answer isn't always x equals 50. Does that make sense, guys? So you set up your equation first and then you solve. And last one quickly. What's going on here? Oh, and we have a y also there for us, okay? What do we think?
So is it just solve for x? Or is it solve
X
for
and y, so this y.
Well, that's an f.
Yeah, we do have an F shape, yes. The other one. Yeah, okay, so this is gonna be, we'll write everything down now, guys. I'm just collecting what we can find along. Are we fine with that? So that angle is 180 minus 6x, okay? Yes?
The 80 is one.
So that would be MRN.
Yeah,
I write it down, yes. This angle is 80 degrees, correct? So the angle is on a straight line. Does that help me to find x? 3 angles in a triangle add up to 180, okay? So 180 minus 6x plus 80 plus 2x is equal to 180. Comparison angle sum in triangle, or just remember our exterior angle in again. This is fine, we're going to get the same equation, but 6x is the exterior angle, right?
Yes.
So that should be equal to
2x.
2x plus 80. Okay, we are going to get that now. Let's see. Here I have 180, right? Now if I move that over, it's going to become minus 180. What's 180 minus 180?
0.
0. So guys, in a sense, these two almost like cancel each other out, right? Because when I move the other one, you don't have to do it like that. I'm just showing you. When I do this, minus 180 is going to be 0. So this plus 80, I will move to that side. What is it going to become? Minus 80. What do I have here? Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4x equals to negative 18. Now I divide by negative 4. What's negative 18 divided by negative 4? Remember, negative divided by negative is a positive. 80 divided by 4 is 20. There we go. There we have that x is 20. Perfect. All right, if x is 20, what is this? 2x, 2 times x, 2 times 20, right? Is 40 degrees. Okay, so once you found the value of x, you can actually use that to find values of angles. And how does that help me? I need to find y. What shape do I have there? Yes. The F shape, okay? So 40 and y, both angles are supposed to be equal. Okay, because of the corresponding angles. So now we're going to say y is equal to 40 degrees. Corresponding angles. And again, they are labeled in this case, and I can say Rn parallel to QP. Okay, and we solve for x and y. Now guys, you won't be able to do these questions if you don't know your geometric rules. Okay, that's the first thing. So if everything that I said now seems completely foreign to you, you're gonna have to spend some time memorizing what is angle, sum, and triangle. What are the corresponding angles? What is the z shape? All of that stuff. You need to be able to actually apply that knowledge. And in order to do that, you obviously have to have the knowledge first. Okay, so if you notice now while I was going through this, that everything seems a bit like you're actually not understanding what's going on, you're gonna have to memorize those things. Yeah.
Let's say you put the reason in an area where it's not supposed to be, you also put it in the right area. Would you get marked down for putting it in the wrong area?
What do you mean by wrong here?
So you've got the answer there, angle, sum, and a triangle up there. What if you put it on the one beneath it, but you still left the one up there? So you wouldn't lose them.
As long as it is where it should be, that's fine.
Okay.
If you're putting it somewhere in your calculation, that's also right. But if you now write angle, sum, and triangle here, then you'll lose them. If it doesn't belong with the y. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, I have one question.
Yes.
So at the top, where you said 6 minus 6 plus 80, that's less. Why did you put the 80 or the plus 80 on the right side before minus?
Because in order to get rid of a plus 80, I have to subtract.
Oh, okay.
So then I must subtract it from the other side as well. And I have a 0 on that side. Okay. All right, guys, are we feeling a bit happy about geometry? Okay, we haven't done it in a while. Okay, I'm sure that there were more worksheets on geometry, so you could maybe try work through some of those now. Okay, you can maybe skip the ones that you haven't done and look for another geometry one and try and practice what we just did. We'll quickly check where we could use. So this one was revision 9 that I looked at now. I'm just looking through these quickly. Yeah, so revision 18, the first page is another geometry one, so you could work on that one. I'll put it on the board for you. Okay, so that is the first page of revision 18. So they've given you a diagram and they are saying this question is quite different from what we just looked at. Scrolling down a bit. They're saying for one, give a good reason why each of the following statements is true. So they're writing angle A. This is just another way of writing angle. We normally do the A and then we do the little copy on top. Okay, that's fine. You can keep doing that. They're basically asking why is angle A equal to angle C? Now, if we're looking at the diagram, that's angle A, that's angle C. Why would these two angles be equal, guys? What would make those two angles equal? What kind of triangle is this? Isosceles triangle. So what's the reason for that? The actual reason that we write down? Angles opposite equal sides. Okay, that's what they're wanting, guys. They're wanting the actual reason. So they're saying here, give a good reason. It should actually read, give the correct reason. Okay, because there's only one reason that's right. So for all of these, you need to look at what they're saying and then write down what is the reason for that. Why is that true? Okay. Let me just see here. Yeah, then you can do number 2 after that as well. It is a bit small, but you can maybe just take a picture of the board and then zoom in on your phone. But this is on Classroom as well, guys. This is revision 18. And then there are loads of geometry questions in your textbook, all right, that you can also work through. if you feel like you're fine with geometry, you can just keep working through the other worksheets that you have been doing so far.